Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the On the Gun Line Podcast YouTube channel. Today we are going to do a Vet Bro reaction. Let you all know from the get-go, the video that I'll be reacting / reviewing is about 30 minutes long. So go ahead and grab yourself some popcorn, get yourself a cup of coffee, your favorite drink, whatever it is. We're going to go ahead and view this. It's Teen Prisoner to Soldier, from street gangs to the military, remembering John. Now, this I was looking up trying to research some stuff regarding what could we do as a society to get these at-risk youth who are out on in all our major cities that end up turning into gangs in order to feel that sense of not just family but of belonging. All right, and I have a background, a past, which I really don't speak about very often. But I'll just say this: I had a sense of always wanting to belong to something bigger than myself, and I wanted to be in the military as a young kid, and unfortunately, due to some criminal activities, I guess you could say, that I did, it kept me from joining up until 2003 when I decided to make a switch. And yeah, well, not anyways. Uh, Excuse me, I had to pick my nose real quick. So, anyways, with that said, we're gonna go ahead and do a reaction video to this. I say review because I viewed it already because I wanted to see if it was something that was going to be worth your time, and that you might be interested in. I reached out to two other channels that I know have experience with the juvenile system, and I hope that maybe they, hoping that they get to view it. Not my reaction, and if possible, my reaction too, but so they can get an idea to see if this is something that's even worth the effort to put or institute within our cities or in California, for example, like Los Angeles. Um, I think that this, myself personally, after viewing it, I think it would be a good idea, but we'll see. I want to know what you all think. All right. So, with that said, thanks for being here with me. I am D-Lo, also known as D-Lo the Vet Bro, and today we're going to be talking about from juvie to military. Can it work? And I really wish that they would have had something like this in my era growing up, which we did in school. We had the California Cadet Corps at my junior high. I went to Bethune Junior High School off of 69th and Broadway. If you know, you know. But I did that, and then of course you have your JROTC. But unfortunately, I didn't make it in high school. I went to Fremont High School for 1 year, and then Chuck Deuces at 10th grade. I was out. So, anywho, with that said, we'll go ahead and continue with this reaction video. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. And am I using the right one? I know. There we go. That's the one I want to use. So let's go ahead and get you a Vet Bro reaction.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Shit. Give me 1 second. I'm kind of fucking up already. I already fucked up. Shit. I'm trying to get it right. There we go. Here we go. Hey, I'm not technologically savvy, y'all. So here we go. And like I said before, oh shit, here we go again.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
The people we met in the scenes, whatever. I hope y'all read that.
For every aggressive offender behind bars at Pendleton Juvenile, there's a former bad boy who has spent years exorcising the demons of his past. 18-year-old John Madden is one of those kids.
I turned 15 here, turned 16 here, turned 17 here, and turned 18 here. I got a battery on staff charge, and I regret it. I feel really bad about it because these officers don't do nothing but come in here and do their jobs, and I was being stupid and ignorant and thought, hey, he's gonna mess with me, I'm gonna mess with him, and I don't even feel like talking about it.
Madden was sent here as a disciplinary transfer from his previous facility. He had participated in disturbance in Indianapolis, so he came here straight to our segregation unit. He was angry, he was mad, he was non-compliant with every request. He was a good kid to work with because you could see from whatever he's went through in his life, he decided he was going to make some changes.
My real daddy, he's in and out of prison. He got out last time, and he's most likely back in again because he wrote me like 4 letters, and I haven't heard from him. And before that, the last time I heard from him, I was about 9. Before that, I was 6.
Damn.
For Madden, peeling back the layers of anger didn't happen overnight. It might not have happened at all, but one innovative yet simple program changed all that.
Future Soldier Program. You know, I think this is one of the ways that we can reach our kids, our youth at a young age, you know, in their teens, 12, 13, 14. I think a lot of people that would be opposed to this would say that it's kind of like brainwashing them or militarizing them. But, you know, what's the alternative? As he said, it already sounds like this kid, John, is coming from a broken home. His pops is already somebody who's been in and out of the system. And I mean, what better way to carve a future for this kid than to start giving him the opportunity to self-reflect and take accountability for, well, we'll get to that as it goes. Let's go. The Future Program started in
Really changed my life.
2007.
I came over here.
The Future Soldier Program was started in 2007. There's only room for 24 recruits. See, I think that's where it's kind of messed up. I wish that there was. I mean, I don't know what it is now, but if we could open it to more, I mean, I get it's going to have to be a selective process, which they talk about on here. But I mean, 24 recruits. I guess it's better than having 24 repetitive offenders again.
To our gang unit, I was a gangbanger, thought I was a tough guy, and I've learned a lot since I've been on the unit. I've got a lot of self-discipline. I've transitioned from one person to another. 4 honor, courage, commitment. 5 honor, courage, commitment.
The Future Soldier Program can really give the offenders hope and give them an alternative future. Rather than us throwing all these resources in the offender while he's at the facility and then returning them back to the same environment that he was in before he came here. And the idea is that when they complete the Future Soldier Program, they'll be released directly into one of the military branches and leave here and go direct to a boot camp.
Echo 15, attention.
Housed in Pendleton's Echo 15 unit, 24 carefully screened offenders make up the Future Soldiers Program. But getting their prison walking papers and marching straight to boot camp isn't so simple. There's
a screening process that they got to go through. And I mean, I'm sure that these are not going to be offenders that are in for like, murder charges or anything that has to do with violence, I would assume. Or like, but no, because I think some of them are in there for battery. But I mean, as a veteran, who had a troubled, you could say, who was a knucklehead. I was a knucklehead as a youngster. I was a real knucklehead. I hung out with knuckleheads that were just like myself. And the only difference was that between myself and them is that I made the decision to, like a cancer, cut it out and be gone from it. I have no doubt in my mind, had I stayed in the environment where I was at, that I definitely would have continued to play the games that came along with it. So I ended up moving as far away as possible from it in order to try to give myself a better chance at life. Shit, I mean, I was 23, going on 24 when I finally made that decision to leave LA. But I mean, this is more for the incarcerated youth. I got lucky. I never got busted as a kid. I didn't get busted till I was 19 for my stupidity. And I did not do like any hard fucking time. I'm not one of those cats that, did any of that shit. But that's another story for another day. Anywho, but with that said, had they had something like this implemented, not just for the youth in prison, but I think something also out in the community that they made it accessible to for these at-risk youth, I think that would definitely be something that should be looked into.
Still, red tape. Military requirements demand offenders be out of Pendleton 30 days after their release before
30
they
days
can
is a
officially
long time.
enlist. And 30 days can be a lifetime for kids like Madden, who return to drug and gang-infested neighborhoods.
What really makes me nervous is him returning back to his old environment and the situations that got him in trouble in the first place. It's harder for them to maintain the discipline and the structure they have here once they return to the home or the streets.
I feel like this is the most positive thing I can do. It's either that or go back to Indy, and there's not a whole lot there for me.
Okay, so
A
we're
lot of
from
people aren't going
Indianapolis.
to appreciate that I'm trying to do something for myself, and I don't feel like I need to go back to that because I don't feel like I'm going to have a whole lot of support.
Spent 6 months in SEG. When he arrived at Pendleton, he wrote songs and played guitar in middle school.
With his release date just weeks away and military recruiters in town, Superintendent Dempsey nervously tries to find a solution to bridge the 30-day probation period that would require Madden to return to his old haunts.
He's come a long way. He's really taken that program to heart.
One sound, one unit.
If we can make this happen for him so that he can leave this facility and report direct to the Navy, it gives him a future. It gives him the hope that he needs to truly make a difference in the rest of his life.
I think that what he said right there is something that probably a lot of youth were lacking back in the day. I'm going back in the day because that's the era I grew up in, which was the 80s and 90s. It's that hope. What hope was there growing up? For a lot of cats, the only outcome that we saw was, elevating in what we were doing. So I'm just wondering, and it wasn't nothing good. So I'm gonna speak for myself as a youth. As a youth, I wanted to belong. Like I said earlier, I wanted to belong to something, and hence why I wanted to join the military. Specifically because I had two brothers that were in the Marine Corps as I was growing up, in the 80s and early 90s, and so I wanted to be a Marine. Again, unfortunately, certain paths that I took kept me from fulfilling that dream until 2003, when I was actually be able to become a soldier and not a crayon eater. Shots fired, Marine Corps. But I think that having mentorship is what's really lacking out there in society. I don't know about now. I can't talk about now because I'm not in LA anymore. I'm not in the environment I grew up in. But I do talk to someone who is very tapped in out there as far as the youth that are at risk of becoming statistics or just numbers in the system. And it's unfortunate that they don't have the mentorship required in to succeed. And those that do try to be mentors are either shunned or looked upon as you're no good, or how could you have done this and now you're this type of person or that type of person. I mean, all people are trying to do, honestly, is try to keep you or prevent you from making the same mistakes that we made growing up.
Secure my formation. 15. Ball is right. Double time.
While Dempsey searches for a solution for Madden, military officers Rick Johnson, Dwayne Cooley, and John Mercer have their hands full interviewing other offenders who want a shot at being in the future soldier program.
Recite the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag.
150 of Pendleton's 300 inmates have applied for the unit. Currently, there is only room
That's
for
half
three
the
more.
fucking system.
It's a tight unit. We have to be very careful who we let into the unit.
Right.
Today's a selection interview process. We're going to do our best to screen out any people that might be detrimental to good order and discipline in the unit, because we have to protect that.
He's using military verbiage there. Good order and discipline is something that we definitely have in the military, though it looks like some of it has gone down due to social media. For the majority, I think that we still do have good order and discipline. And it's good that they're giving these kids the opportunity to showcase their best in order to be accepted into this program. Will there be some of those that are just trying to find a better way to do time? I'm sure there is. That are those that are just there trying to make their time go by faster and easier. However, I got to respect the get down that these officers have. You know, they got a hard job ahead of them, trying to be, you know, cast aside any biases that they have, and select the candidates that they believe are going to be successful in this program. Because the thing about it is, you know, all it takes is one rotten apple to fuck up the whole orchard. You know, so yeah, let's go ahead.
Why are you requesting to join E15?
I would like to get away from negative peers. There's a lot of negative peers on the unit I'm on now. So I know that if I come here, I got more of an opportunity to go home.
We get up at 4:50 in the morning. Is that going to be a problem?
No, sir.
It's a very structured environment. You go to bed at the same time. There's no horseplay. Absolutely no horseplay.
Yes,
Is that going to be a problem?
No, sir.
2100 is lights out, taps. There is no talking. If you was to be caught talking, the whole room gets up and does PT. Yeah.
PT, sir, is that
physical training? Would you have any problems with that?
No, sir.
How are you going to be able to handle taking direction and orders from other guys in your position?
Well, sir, I would think to myself, if I listen to them, then maybe one day I'll be able to get up there and be able to be the one.
Great answer.
Outstanding.
Even though
answer.
this offender,
Outstanding answer. You know, and I like the way that they're doing this interview process. You know, they want to go ahead and get a vibe for this person and make sure that they are going in there for the right reasons, not just trying to go in there and fuck things up, fuck up the program. I'm sure that they have like a zero tolerance program, or, you know, policy as far as like any type of shenanigans, we'll say. I'm trying to watch what I say here nowadays, because, you know, the algorithms of the YouTube doesn't like it when people cuss too daggone much and whatnot. So anywho, let's continue.
has all the right answers. The decision to accept him into the unit is
Because you got to
complicated.
think
These
only three.
juveniles come from horrible backgrounds. I tend not to judge them, but we want to ask ourselves, do we think they're going to learn in this unit?
The military team must weigh their personal feelings about the offender with the troubling events that brought him to Pendleton in the first place. And competition to get into Echo 15 is tough.
I wouldn't say I wouldn't let him on the unit. We're going to have to weigh him out once we go through everybody else.
He's always followed my orders. He's never questioned me. I was a new guy, brand new on his unit, and he never gave me an ounce of trouble.
As the interviews continue, a familiar face walks through the door.
Pick your head up, man.
Trying, man.
Don't be nervous. Have a seat. You know us all.
This impulsive teen was kicked out of the program once before.
Why you want to come back to the unit?
I can't do anything positive because of my actions and just getting mad all the time. I was never mad over here. I just didn't feel I was really ready to be over here.
What?
Accountability. Accountability is something that I think is always 100% looked at as a positive. Yeah, what you may have done may have been something negative, but when somebody is humble enough to be accountable for their actions, that's a sign of growth. That's a sign of maturity. That's a sign of somebody that is ready not to only listen but put into action any kind of guidance or any kind of plan of action that we have proposed for them. So let's see if he gets selected.
Why did you get taken off the unit?
I battered somebody.
Why did you batter him?
I heard some stuff that he did about me. So I just took my
Kid shit
anger out
right
at that time.
You got to
That's
earn
what
it.
they
You
are.
can't be
They're
out
kids.
GP acting a fool and expect to come over to our program because it's not going to happen.
If we bring you back over here, are you gonna batter somebody else on our unit?
Well, you might consider me trying to make an excuse, but I don't have any problems with nobody over here. And that's my word.
No excuses.
It's a real good group
That's
of
a
guys
big
that we
phrase
got
in the
over
military.
there, working
No
on
excuse.
team building right now, and it's coming along nice.
It doesn't matter whether you get on this unit or not. Eventually, you're going to have to learn how to handle your anger without fighting, whether it's here or in 14 or wherever. And once you do that, it's not going to matter what unit you're in, and you'll be where you need to be.
and I know that that's a big issue, especially I'm going to speak for myself growing up in California and LA. One thing that you don't do is ever get punked, no matter how much, no matter how little the the clowning was. We used to call it bagging. No matter, how little they are or how low the bagging was that they were doing on you, if it's somebody you don't know and it's just being disrespectful, you have to start chunking them. And I'm going back to elementary school. I'm talking about this shit starts off young in elementary school. I went to South Park Elementary right there on fucking Manchester and Avalon, y'all. Again, if you're from LA, if you're from South Central, you know exactly where that's at. That school was it was rough, yo. And you had to start swinging as soon as somebody steps on your shoes. First day of school, second day of school, last day of school, whatever, you are swinging. But that first day of school, especially, don't let somebody step on your new shoes, especially if you wore white shoes, because you fighting. You will be fighting. Somebody says, yo, mama, you better start swinging. No ifs, ands, or buts. If somebody side eyes, you're like, what the fuck are you looking at? Yes, in elementary school, that's how we would be talking, and I don't know if it's still the same now, but I'm telling you how it was. Shit, I was in elementary school in the early 80s. So, and being a little Mexican, as they used to call me, which I'm not even Mexican, by the way, just for the fucking, for the record. But I was that little Mexican. I hated that shit. I grew up in an all black neighborhood. So, anywho, I was constantly fighting because one, I wasn't black, and two, I was that little Mexican that they thought they could punk because I was a scrawny ass little fucking 50-pound kid walking by, and they just wanted to fuck with me. But hey, it was what it was back in those days, Anywho, continue moving forward. So anyway, what I'm saying is these fools having to go ahead and take the abuse that they would have to, as far as like, I always trip out on people that say, if a drill sergeant got in my face, I'd probably swing at him. Okay, go ahead and fuck around and find out if you're gonna do that. You talk a big game, but if that's the mentality you have, the military isn't for you anyway. Because when you go there, I'm gonna tell you right now, day zero, because it's not day one, day zero that you get there, they are gonna start breaking the civilian out of you. That's the whole point of boot camp, to break the civilian out of you and turn you into a soldier. Because soldiers need to learn how to fucking take orders. Because when the bullets are flying, I'm not going to be asking you, hey, could you please pass me that canister of bullets over there? Or could you please shift your fire? No, I'm going to be yelling. I'm going to be at the top of my lungs. Because first of all, there's bullets and fire going around. I don't know if you ever try to have a conversation in a firefight. It's not one of those like, hey, man, can you do that? Nah, it's one of those adrenaline is pumping. You need to be heard. Anywho, I'm going into the weeds here. Let's continue.
By mid-afternoon, the last offender of the day makes his pitch to get into the program.
And why are you in juvenile this time?
Strong arm robbery.
How long have you been in the Department of Corrections?
Since I was 12.
Damn.
My biggest concern is your gang affiliation. So how are you going to convince me that you're renouncing your gang and you're folding your flag?
Yeah, I did that before I decided to come over here. And I folded my flag because being in a gang, it don't get you nowhere. And I'll prove to you by coming over here, and you won't see me throwing up them gang signs I throw up.
I've been talking to your officers in school. I've been actually, been investigating on you to see if you're really serious and not just trying to, play me. Right now, I'm going to say yes.
One of the first things you said when you sat down is that you felt like you were a victim of the system. What we need you to do at all times in this unit is have accountability for yourself and for what you've done to be in the position that you're in.
Mm-hmm. Said it earlier. Accountability is a big thing. It's a big deal. And for homeboy to be renouncing his hood or his gang life or whatever he's saying he did, those are big steps, man. I mean, those are big things that it's life changing, life altering, and could be in certain places life threatening. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if he's just saying it for the cameras or whatnot. Um, but either way, shout out to that kid, man. I'm hoping that he completed the program and he's being real about what he's doing.
Indiana's Pendleton Juvenile Correctional Facility, one of America's largest maximum security juvenile prisons. Pendleton is the last stop for teens in the juvenile justice system. But in this prison, education and rehabilitation are mandatory, even for the toughest teen offenders.
I've been doing this for 6 years now, and I understand, you know, when we come through the door that there are things that could happen that day. But here, more so than other places, it seems if you are afraid or if you show fear, then you'll be pretty much chewed up and spit out.
You know, and this sounds a lot like a lot of some of the channels that I watch. Like shout out to Dubs from Dub S World, and shout out to Gunners Collective TV. These guys, you know, they were in the juvenile system. That's who I'm hoping that, you know, they can take a look at this and see if it's something that would particularly work in the state of California, because they were in what was back then it was called YA, and YA babies. I was just talking to one of my homeboys from way back in the day, and you know, YA babies definitely, you could tell who a YA baby was. Those fools had just a whole different attitude, demeanor, a different aura per se about these cats. I would say almost beyond confident of their actions and how they were. You know, they were just a whole different breed.
It's actually a term called cage courage, where they tend to, you know, because they know they're hiding behind the door and they're safe from any kind of recourse or anything. They can really act out.
Life in the segregation unit can run hot and cold on any given day.
People have been down here for a while. They kind of learn, you know, to get along, and we don't really have that much of a problem with them.
Eventually, destructive teen spirit loses out to the boredom of time and SAG. No one knows
about
this
it is
better
though. My thing about this is, like, I mean, is this really helping them out? I did see though on the bottom where I read that, you know, it's not about how much time you get. There's no time limit to how much time you're going to be there. You got to actually complete programs or steps in order to get out of that unit that they're in, or you know, out of the system at the point. But the point is, I think they need to start going into more like root causes of what is it that has led this person to be in this position, and then build up from that.
Then 18-year-old John Madden
really wasn't a very good person. I wasn't at all. That used to be the reputation I wanted. I wanted to be a bad guy.
A year ago, after 2 years behind bars and a past he'd rather forget, Madden made a choice. The military would be his future.
I want to go. I want to serve my country. I mean, became a little bit of a patriot, and I want to fight for my country. We got a war going on right now against terrorism, and so many innocent lives have been taken. I mean, I want to fight. I want to fight for what's right.
I'll stop him right there. Also, I think another thing is, I'm gonna go back to the sense of belonging. Look, man, you want to be in a hood, you want to be in a gang. The biggest gang you have is Uncle Sam's. All right, you can go into Uncle Sam's Misguided Children, which is the USMC, United States Marine Corps, or you could join, you know, the Navy, or you could join the Army, depending on what you want to do. A lot of these teens, or a lot of these teens are in there for, you know, wanting to belong and looking more towards the riskier things in life, I would say. So the military would be a great calling for them, because I think what they lack, honestly, is structure. Honestly, it's structure and discipline, which they will find in the military. And if this is a way to prep them for the military itself, I think it will be a very successful program. I think they will have a very successful military career. I look at that dude from Florence in LA. He was from Florence gang, and you know, he joined the Army. He joined the Navy in the mid 90s, late 90s, a couple of years before I did. And he actually just retired now as the highest enlisted rank that you can have in the Navy, which is I think it's a Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy. You know what I mean? I'm saying, like, I don't know if it was Master Chief Petty Officer, which to us in the Army will be a Command Sergeant Major, enlisted rank E9 pay grade. So that's not earned easily, and he was very successful. He has a book out called Essay to Master Jefe. Go check that one out too. So shout out to I want to say his name is Raul. I have his book somewhere back there, but I ain't gonna go dig it. But anyways, yeah, check out that story on him.
Makes me feel like I'm redeeming myself for all the bad karma that I've set up for myself.
I love this program. I am a Vietnam vet myself.
Counselor Frank Sawyer is a corporate retiree.
Are you dealing with the physical parts of the program?
Like, I've done about 250 push-ups today alone.
Good, that's excellent.
Inside Pendleton, he found the work of a lifetime with kids like Madden and the future soldiers of Echo 15.
The Future Soldiers program kind of breathed extra life into what I'm trying to do.
Attention on deck.
When you step in there, somebody's in your face.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Attention. And they answer you, no, it's not yes, it's yes, sir.
Yes, sir. This bed is a train wreck. It needs to be fixed. Yes,
Structure.
sir.
When you
Right
come face to face and head on with that kind of in charge discipline, it really tells who wants to do the program and not.
Where's that go?
The Shasher.
Are you ready, 15?
We're very pleased with John's progress. His background is challenging, to say the least, but he takes time and he's thinking things through. I've seen him take charge, take leadership, and we are really hopeful that he's going to be one of our success stories.
Good job, y'all.
Success for Madden is so close he can taste it. But two major hurdles still stand in the way.
Listening to those guys marching and calling cadence, believe it or not, marching is one of the key factors needed to instill discipline, and also esprit de corps. Esprit de corps, is like that motivation. So that pride that you have for your unit. And the thing about DNC, drill and ceremony, that's what the marching is under, is DNC makes you move as one unit, one solid unit from point A to point B, in a formation that is well fucking god damn. It just, when it's done, look, I'll tell you this: when it comes to DNC, there's no greater DNC than the Marine Corps. As a former soldier, hey, I'll bite the bullet on that one. The Marine Corps has the fucking best DNC, drill and ceremony. Those motherfuckers, you can shoot a laser beam between their motherfucking their rank and files as they're fucking going through. Army, we be bebopping like a motherfucker. I can't stand that shit. Not my section. When I have my section, or squad for those, I made sure that we look good. I'm all about having pride. But anyways, what I'm trying to get at is, when you look good, you feel good. When you look like a soldier, you feel like a soldier. So give me a second. Excuse me. So I think that discipline to stay in step, 9 to the front, 6 to the rear as you're marching. Making sure you're all in step. You're using your peripheral vision, to make sure you're all lined up correctly. All of that, it takes discipline. And once you start getting that into you and you see yourself doing it and it looks fucking good, you start feeling good. And self-esteem is a motherfucker. So let's go.
Getting through his final release interview to get out of prison and passing the military test to enlist in the Navy once he's out.
I'm a little bit scared. I don't know if I'm handling it right, but I'm going to try my hardest.
Hurdle number 1 is just around the corner.
All right, I'm going to fast forward this because I'll tell y'all, he passed.
Madden, can you tell us what you've learned since you've been here?
I took group a little bit more seriously this time, and it's helped me out a lot. I'm learning to stop and think now before I do anything. That's the biggest part that was getting me in trouble because I was hot.
While Madden's path to release seems to be on track, back in Echo 15,
he's
military
getting released.
officers are having a much harder time deciding who will fill the final spots in the Future Soldiers program.
We have 3 open spots, and we're going over about 150 applications.
Once we go through all the interviews, we'll decide who's going to be the best fit and who we want. It's a competition. I mean, we have to pick the best recruits for this program.
So, the question is, my question to those that are viewing, not just in California, but throughout the U.S., would this be something that is viable and also, I think, would solve our recruiting problem, into the military? Yeah, the military is not for everybody, but in a way, we're starting to put these people who in another time would not have the support that they would be getting if they were just doing their time and getting out. They actually have a shot at life because you go through the military, you make it through basic training, you get to your unit, you do your 8-year commitment. Because those that don't know, the military is actually an 8-year commitment. Now, how you do your time is different. You could do, in the Army, for example, you could do 3 years active duty, and then you do 5 years in reserve. So that's how it works throughout all the branches. You do your active duty time, like for the Marine Corps, I think it's 4 years that you'll do active, and then you can do 4 years reserve, or it all depends on how you decide to program your fucking your contract. Me, I ended up doing 10. I was going to do all 20 and then retire. However, unfortunately, due to some physical limitations that I was under, let's just say I had to get medically retired. So that's why I ended up getting out at 10. If not, I would be retiring this year, would be my 20 years, and I would have been retiring. At 46 years old, I would be retiring from the military. Ain't that some shit? All right, moving on.
We asked you to, if you were serious about coming to the military unit, you cut your hair.
That's okay, Pop.
I want to, but you did it. Now, what happened over in 13 when you cut your hair? What did everybody else say?
They didn't like it. They could respect the fact that I was trying to do something different for myself. So therefore, I made a decision on my own.
Bam. Look at that. They couldn't respect the fact that I was doing something different for myself, so I made the decision on my own. See, when you have others influencing the way that you participate in doing your time, it's gonna just lead you to those that are fucking trying to stop you from bettering yourself. You need to just get away from them. I was talking, like I said, to one of my homies from way back in the day, and we were talking about how our lifestyles were back then, and how is it that we could probably try to reach our youth today that are out there in the hoods. But yeah, it's that misery loves company. So if they're not doing well, they don't want you to succeed either.
I came here by myself, and I wouldn't leave by myself.
After hours of interviews and debate, the team has narrowed its search, but there's no guarantee all 3 spots will be filled.
I could see him doing good on this unit. I'm concerned about.
So I'll fast forward this. He made it.
This and that's this unit.
For 3 years
He
of
got
counseling,
selected.
hard work.
I mean, that's
That guy, there was a hater on him that
Used to not having an officer breathing down my neck. I'm gonna have a lot of leadway, and it's gonna feel like the best Christmas gift ever.
With Madden's release from Pendleton in the bag, military officers Johnson, Mercer, and Cooley have one last mission: filling the final spot in the Future Soldier
They only
program.
filled it with 2.
After denouncing his gang.
The world needs to know that at one time you will encounter these kids again. So it's my job to make sure that these kids come out of here on a different level in life, being respectful, law-abiding citizens for one, and then to be able to go out in this world and make it and make something of themselves.
Are you ready? Always ready, sir.
We're not going to save them all, but know this: any offender that comes into this program will be touched and will be embraced with a humble heart.
And that's what they need, man. That's what they need. So it's already been damn near 40 minutes. I'm gonna give you the synopsis or the summary.
Old neighborhood. Madden is determined to stay away from the land.
So he ended up passing the ASVAB. All right, he passed the ASVAB. For those that don't know what the ASVAB is, it stands for the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery. It's basically a test. It takes fucking forever and a day to do. It takes about 3 hours, and what it does, you take tests in coding and take tests in English, math, all that good stuff, in mechanical, all kinds of shit, and it's timed. And based on that, you'll get a line score. And like mine, I'll give you an example. All right, think what you want about me. I ended up with a fucking 51 or 52. I can't remember. Mid shit. All right, and I had to get that because if you only have a high school diploma, all you need, I think, is like a fucking 20 or 30 is all you need in order to join the military. If you have a high school diploma, I had a GED. So since I had a GED, I had to score over 50 in order to be accepted into the Army. So the Marine Corps, they said no, not just no, but fuck no. They wanted me to go take a college course and then have at least one semester college in order to join the Marine Corps. And this is for a kid that wanted to go do all I wanted to do was blow shit up. That's all I wanted to do was blow shit up. But the Marine Corps, their standards are higher, and I get it because they are a smaller branch. I mean, there's only 250,000 that they have, and in the Army, hey, you can breathe, you could take a bullet, you're good to go. So, anywho, but this kid, he ended up going, he took the ASVAB and he scored a fucking 80. All right, that's fucking outstanding. So the kid was smart as fuck because again, the norm is about 40 or 50, especially with the youth nowadays that aren't very bright, I should say. But no, the kid did good, and he ended up joining the Navy.
Minds that got him into trouble in the first place.
I'm not gonna stay getting locked up. I'm not gonna follow my father's path and end up in prison somewhere. I'm not gonna be peddling drugs. I'm not gonna be dealing with firearms.
Ready? Forward.
I'm done with the little hood rat scenario. It's time to be a man.
Ooh-ah.
So that's just on his way
Miss
out.
y'all, man.
And that's a good feeling right there.
Yes, sir.
As Madden gets ready for his final graduation ceremony, just steps away, his mom prepares to see her son for the first time.
Love you very much.
So there's a little graduation ceremony we do for him. I mean, I'm sure that's a good feeling for him, feeling accomplished. That's the thing. I think also, sometimes we put on ourselves as kids, as young men, we put these goals ahead of us that are way out of our reach at that time. Not that they're out of reach eventually, but what we need to do as mentors, I think now that we're adults, we need to be mentors to these younger people and give them goals that are actually sustainable, something that attainable, an attainable goal, a short-sighted goal, that way that could build up, continue building up. So you give them, that's what I used to do as a supervisor. Also as, when I was also as a sergeant, staff sergeant, I would make attainable goals for my soldiers and out here in the civilian sector for my associates so that they can get the confidence to know that anything that they put their mind to is achievable. So if you gave them these achievable, attainable goals, it builds confidence in them to want to continue to better themselves. But if you put a goal that is going to be something that's really difficult to achieve at that time, then when they don't reach it, they're just going to when they fall down, they're not going to want to get back up. So what you do is you make your main goal, and then you put a bunch of sub goals under there that's going to help you attain that main goal. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of people, they don't have that structure or that person to help them get to that first fucking thought of even having a goal to reach, So anywho, moving on.
After 3 years in Pendleton, John will now walk out a free man.
Take care.
So he got out at 18.
He carries with him the hopes of all those who have witnessed his transformation.
Make yourself proud, John.
But John Madden has hope.
He didn't say make me proud. He didn't say make us proud. He said make yourself proud.
hopes of his own.
Y'all came to see me 6 months. I want you to see a successful young man. I want you to see somebody that went out and did what he was talking about. I want y'all to see something good.
Unfortunately, this is how it ends, and I didn't want to blow the fucking the ending for y'all. John graduated from boot camp, and Officer Johnson attended his graduation. He eventually was discharged from the military for medical reasons. So he made it through. He went through boot camp, which, you know, just passing boot camp itself, it's a fucking experience that, you know, that you work through to get to. Like I said, this kid, he had certain goals placed in front of him that were attainable in order for him to pass his ultimate goal, which was joining the military, which he was able to do. But unfortunately, he was discharged from the military for medical reasons. Don't know what that could be. It could be something that, you know, when he was in, he probably hurt himself, or, you know, I don't know. I don't know what it was. But I mean, if he graduated, he was in the military. He was obvious. I don't know what happened between point A and point B. So unfortunately, well, fuck it, let's end it. That's not all. Unfortunately, he ended up doing the inevitable, or not the inevitable, but the worst thing that, you know, what ends up happening to a lot of people, which is he ended up taking his life. So it's really sad to hear that. You know, later in life, John enrolled to college classes. Sadly, in 2020, he died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He was 30 years old. He leaves behind a daughter. You know, so he seemed to have corrected his life, but it seems that unfortunately there were still some other demons that he was dealing with. And sometimes what ends up happening, we don't have that support system that we need, you know, and that's what it seems like happened here. You know, he had the support system while he was in the halls, then he had the support system through boot camp, and then even afterwards, it seems like, you know, he was in a relationship, he had a daughter, a child, and he was progressing. But sometimes, you know, when we end up, we could put a big smile on our face, but inside our demons are tearing us apart, man. And sadly, unfortunately, he lost his battle to his demons. So rest in peace, Mr. Madden. You know, salute you. You showed that there's hope, you know, and hopefully others can learn from this experience of yours and try to move on forward and succeed. But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think that this is something that should be continued, as well as, if not expanded upon, and just not only in the juvenile justice system, but how about within the youth of our country? You know, we have the Job Corps. I went to Job Corps myself back in '95. You know, I went to the San Diego Job Corps Center, and then from there, I think maybe we should have something like that. I know the Marine Corps used to have devil pups. I wanted to be a devil pup as a kid. All I had, and since my brother was in the Marine Corps, I believe that I had a shot to do it, but we never looked back into it as much as possible, as much as we should have. And then, you know, in junior high, I did the cadet corps, but again, that was only in school. You know what I'm saying? What happens after school? I think there should be something that, like, they have soccer programs, little league programs. They should have like a program for youth who, parents who would like to see their kids go towards a military career or a military program, military structured type program. I believe that would be great, and especially for kids that nowadays are having hard times with bullying, with just being a kid. You know, times are different. So anyways, that's my video for today. I hope y'all enjoyed this, man. Give me some feedback, let me know what you think. And with that said, that's all I got for y'all today. I hope you enjoyed this that's all, folks. This vet bro reaction. Y'all have a good one, and I'll catch you on the next time. Maybe on a word on the streets tomorrow. If you haven't done so yet, if y'all made it this far, hey, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that thumbs up, and hit that subscribe and the notification bell, so you know when I drop a vet bro reaction like this one, and on the Gunline podcast episode like yesterday. in which I forgot what I talked about already, and or just a word on the streets or when I go live. Anywho, with that being said, I'll catch y'all later, y'all. Deuces.